Hello, my name is Stephen O'Regan and I'm talking about Glasgow Celtic on the World Football Forum. I've been a Celtic fan my whole life, but I was pretty upset after the game yesterday against Ajax, where Celtic got knocked out of the Europa League. I thought I'd give my opinion because I couldn't find any other opinion on YouTube, which is really surprising for a club that is so big. I think Celtic fans need to have their voices heard, and a good place for them to do that would be YouTube. So here I go. If you agree or disagree with anything I say, feel free to comment. Don't be too nasty. So overall, I think it's time for the manager, Deila, to go. I think he has had plenty of opportunity to improve Celtic over the last couple of years, and I don't think he has. In fact, I think the team is going backwards under his command. The defence is shocking, and there seems to be disharmony there within the squad. And he has had multiple opportunities to progress Celtic in Europe. Last season, he had two opportunities to advance Celtic in the Champions League, and he failed on both occasions. First of all, Celtic lost, 6-1 or 4-1, some ridiculous scoreline like that, to a Polish team, got knocked out of Europe, and because they played an uneligible player, they got a bye into the next round. That was embarrassing enough. But then Celtic lost at home to Maribor, who is the type of team that Celtic should just be beating. I believe that Celtic had good enough players to get through that round, and the players just didn't rise to that occasion, despite the fact that Celtic Park was packed to the rafters. It should be enough to get any Celtic team to raise their game. They don't need to raise their game. They weren't playing AC Milan or Inter Milan or any of these big teams who Celtic have beaten in the past at Celtic Park. So I found that defeat unexcusable. But because it was Ronnie Dalia's first season, he just really started Celtic. Okay, you give him a bye. He went into the Europa League. It was a very weak group, and Celtic conceded so many goals. And that's despite the fact that Celtic had good players at the back last season. In fact, I think Celtic have got decent enough players all over the park, but they look very weak as a unit, and the organisation is shocking. Nevertheless, because the group was so bad, Celtic managed to get through where they played Inter Milan. And those two Inter Milan games were the best moments in Ronnie's Celtic managerial career. The first leg, Celtic looked very good going forward. However, the defence was still shocking because they conceded 2 goals within the first 10 minutes. However, grounds for optimism because of the mental strength of the team going forward, although the atmosphere that night I think was incredible at Celtic Park. The second leg away at the San Siro, Celtic looked a lot more resilient at the back, and that made me think that, okay, let's give this guy a shot. Unfortunately, in Scotland, you just don't really have much other opportunities to judge the manager because he's just got such little to play against. So even though Celtic won the league, I think they won fairly unspectacularly. I don't think it was an amazing performance that took them to the championship. They lost in the semi-final of the Cup. That was disappointing. So I was really looking forward to see how much the team had progressed this season when it came to the Champions League. Again, I think the draw was very favourable to Celtic. I think they had the personnel to get through the rounds, and they blew it. Just crazy defensive lapses, corner kicks. These are the most basic things in the game. If you are playing at youth level in football, the first thing the coach does, or the manager does, is gets you organised at the back, gets you organised for corner kicks, for crosses, for free kicks, and Celtic have been amateur hour in that regard. True away leads in the Champions League. They go into the Europa League. I think he should have left after the getting knocked out in the Champions League. I think that should have been the moment he left. However, fine, give him a chance in the Europa League. He went into that. Fenerbahce, Ajax looks tough on paper, but in the end, both of those teams look very, very poor. And Celtic threw away leads to both of them. Just unexcusable. Neither of those teams look good. And yeah, it all culminated basically last night. At home to Ajax, the team just looked like they're running around like headless chickens. And players look like they've got worse under Deila, not better. And really, for a young manager who's trying to make a name for himself, you really want to see players improving under him, because that's what the kind of strength that he should be bringing to a team. He's not a checkbook manager. he should be a manager that gets the best out of players, and he's not. Um, so yeah, he blew his chance again. Um, so that's it. I think he should go now. I think a new manager should be brought in immediately to have a chance to gel the players, to get to know the players' personalities. And I personally think that a manager with any acumen will get those players together and get them solid as a unit. And that's the most important thing. So who comes to mind? David Moyes. I think there's plenty of managers out there that could do the job. I don't. Hearing Celtic fans go on about how, well, who would take the job or that. There's plenty of managers that would take the job. And I think there's plenty of managers that would put a bit of steel into the team. And that's what they need. And they need to stop playing one up front. And they need to have better substitutions. And Deila has looked like a nervous wreck on the sideline for the last few weeks. He always looks a bit nervous on the sideline, I think. I think that transfers to the players. So, yeah, Deila must go. I know the fans are divided over that, but can't accept this mediocrity. The attendances are dwindling at Celtic Park. I look at some fans, what they're saying, and it's just the acceptance of mediocrity is unbelievable. And the fans need to speak up and say, that's not enough. And just regarding the board, because a lot of fans like to blame the board. Well, the board could always be better. Of course, I'd like to see better investment in the club. Of course, I'd like to see a better manager. I'd definitely like to see the club presented better. I don't think the club is presented well enough. But I think there's been enough flow of players through the team, through the squad under Deila. There's been enough tools for him to work with, basically, and he has not managed to get them together or get the best out of them. So that's my opinion. Time for Deila to go. If you've got an opinion, leave it under the video. Let me know what you think about this video. If you don't like it, I'll never do it again.